What's up, guys? It's your boy Master Beta here again, and I decided I'm going to give you that Mega Colony deck profile early. Now, I know I told you guys I was waiting for a couple cards. I did order most of what I was waiting for already, but I haven't ordered the other half yet, which will probably be done by Saturday. But I decided to myself, you know what? We're gonna do it now. We're doing this shit now. So this is what we're gonna be doing. Okay, this is what we're gonna be doing, guys. We're going to order. So instead of actually having the cards, I'm gonna be doing this, a deck profile of the cards right here in Cardfight area. Normally I don't like doing this, but I felt like you guys waited long enough. I know some people have been asking questions about what I run in Darkface, what I run in Darkface. I'm gonna tell y'all what I run in Darkface. This is my personal take of the build. I know some people, do different things with it, but this is my personal take. If you guys have anything different, leave down in the comment section below, and just give me an explanation on why it's different. Don't be like, nah, man, this is like the best build, period. And just tell me why it's the best. Give me some reason. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the trigger lineup. Of course, we're gonna run 4 of the new heal triggers, Relish Ladies. Now I have Relish Ladies already. We're gonna run 4 Relish Ladies, obviously. Then we're gonna run 3 draw triggers. Now this is my special thing. I run 3 draw triggers because of people don't like letting you draw in this deck. They will call over the units. They will retire the unit themselves. They do not want you getting pluses. So draw triggers won't deck you out. Most of the time the draw triggers have helped me stay alive until I can get to GB8, because that's when this deck goes off. That's when GB8 is when you kill them. So obviously. Anyway, on to the other triggers. I run 3 Makeup Widow. I would run 4, but I have no room. I don't want to run any less crits. So 3 is good. Makeup Widow is a Generation Break 1 ability, Dark Device, which is when you put it into the soul, countercharge 1, and choose my opponent's units, grade 1 or less units, and stun it. And this could be done at anyone's end phase, so that's actually really good. And then 2 random crits. They can be anything. These are just my favorite crits, purely preference. And then 4 of the Darkface bombs is a crit, obviously. Shove it into Cardfight Vanguard plus 5k. Onto the great ones. Obviously, you're going to run 4 of Little Doorcast, Stride Fodder at standard, 4 of Rebel Mutant Star Shield, Unflip PG, because this deck really has a counterblast problem. I hope Bushy, helps Mega Colony. Mega Colony is, always on the fringe of whether, it gets enough support to be sustainable, but, it's too slow. Darkface is too slow. It's too slow compared to the meta, and that's why the deck is the way it is right now. But if we can, at least we got a finisher in the GB8. That's what this deck was really missing, much like a Chaos Breaker. That's what the deck was missing. Anyway, enough about the tangent. 4 of Vulcan Lafertes, he's your countercharger, and he makes sure your opponent cannot intercept. He makes sure your opponent cannot intercept no matter what. Because of the column, and he's a pseudo-resist unit if you have a Darkface Vanguard, which most of the time you will have a Darkface Vanguard. And then my final tech is Machine Mosquito. Now, I do not use Brilliant Blister because right now it's not relevant enough in my meta to where Brilliant Blister would help me. Because most of the time I'm not against restanding Vanguards where Brilliant Blister can actually stop them. Now, obviously, when the Kagero stuff comes out, I'm obviously going to have to, strongly consider putting Brilliant Blister in the deck, because I've tested the new Kagero stuff versus Darkface. It destroys the deck. It completely obliterates the deck. It can plus 2 hard, in all honesty. Because it'll plus off of you not having a board, and then if you do call a board, they'll just, that deck is nuts. So eventually we're gonna have a deck profile of that deck too, because that deck's really good, and I feel like it's a hidden gem, and it's gonna resurface Kagero in the meta big time. Anyway, we're playing 2 Machine Mosquitoes just for the pure soul charge effect, because what I like to do in the deck is stack up the soul, and just when they call stuff, over stuff, punish them for it. Make sure that they don't have any attacks that turn. That's what I really like to do, is just punish them for calling over their stuff. minusing them card advantage, because our game is not attrition anymore, our game is get to GB8 and kill them. So that's all this deck is supposed to be doing, is survive until you can get to GB8 and then murder your opponent. Anyway, on to the grade 2s, I do something special with this deck. I run 4 10k vanillas. Now I run 4 10k vanillas in this deck because it needs it. Darkface is a very slow control deck and it gets destroyed by early game rush. We need 10k vanillas so that they can't just swing 9s and 7s at us. I would consider 8k vanillas, but I feel like the soul charge is just too good for the deck right now, and there's really no room for the 8k vanillas, in my opinion. So that's why we're running Bloody Hercules at 4. It really doesn't matter. There's not really that much else to run, in all honesty. Because you could run, I guess, yeah, there's not really that much else to run besides Bloody Hercules. That, in my opinion, would be good enough over Bloody Hercules. You run 3 Buster Mantis, you know, one of my favorite cards, Buster Mantis, one of my favorite cards just because it's had the shape of a penis. And like, you know, Buster Mantis do what he gotta do, you know what I mean? He's just a Generation Break 1 12 units active, you know. If all your opponent's units are rested, it's better than Sickle Scythe Mutant Aristo Scythe, in my opinion, because it can swing for 16k lanes with your 4k triggers. That's why I like Buster Mantis over Aristo Scythe's 11k. Even though you could hit early game without Generation Break with Buster Mantis, I feel like it's more good. It combos more with your triggers. So that's why we play 3 of him. Then we'll play 4 of Punish Tag, which is like our free Godsend Dark Device and Glimmer Breath clone, which all I have to do is have Dark Device and a Darkface Vanguard. Gains plus 2k and I Giga Stun one of my opponent's units. Giga Paralyze it. And off of his skill though, you have to draw. It's not you may, like Darkface's skill. It's for Punish Tag's skill, you have to draw. So that's a little tidbit that many of you Megacon people might or might not know, so you know, just a little tidbit. Anyways, going on to the grade 3 is not grade 4, so we're not there yet. Obviously, we're going to play 4 Intimidating Darkface. Darkface is the headliner of the deck. Of course, we're going to play 4 of them. He has an awesome GB2 skill, a very awesome defensive GB2 skill, which I've used many times, and like, is the best part of the deck. Is one of the best parts of the deck is Soul Blast 2. When my opponent's unit is placed on rear guard, I rest it, which is really good. Now, I haven't checked the rulings yet, but it might be able to stop. I'm not sure if it could like stop domination. If it could stop, like, you know, their stride skill. It probably can't. No, I don't think so. I don't think it can stop Shirnu's new stride skill of Call from the Drop, but we're gonna have to check. We're gonna check. I don't think it can, but, you know, just in case, you never know. Anyway, we're gonna play, you saw this in my last deck profile, Sky Slicing Reading General Superior Mantis. We're playing 2 Superior Mantises. Now, we're playing 2 Superior Mantises for it's obviously, because it's good, it's auto Dark Device skill, it's not just because it's good, there's reasons. Counterblast 1, when it's placed on Vanguard or Rear Guard, stun a unit in the same column as him, so he's obviously good if you're getting early game rushed, that's what I like about it. But his Generation Break 2 Dark Device ability is when it's placed on rear guard, stun anything. So he's basically Counterblast 1, stun 2 guys. That's why I like him. Because if my opponent has a full board, I like just like calling in his field and just, you know, preventing them from standing is such a powerful ability, because then you're forcing your opponent to call over it. Not as powerful because, you know, obviously they can just superior call. Some decks can superior call out the ass and fucking Royal Paladin, Shadow Paladin. It's stupid, but you know, he's just there to help you take control of the board. That's all he's there for, in all honesty. And then we play 2 of Unbeatable Mutant Vectrozeus. Now, these 2 guys are to satiate your opponent from early game rushing you. The early game rushing you, or he's really good against Second Season. Even though Second Season didn't get that nerf on July 31st, he's still really good against 7th Season Grade 1 Rush in the fact that they retire all their Grade 1 or less units. Now, you do too, but most of the time, what I found is most of the time your starter, Rosenberg, which I forgot to go over, my bad, you really only use him to go into the soul and make sure your opponent's unit doesn't intercept. Most of the time that chosen thing doesn't come into play. So I'm not afraid to let Rosenberg die in order to minus my opponent big time. That's why I really like. They're punishing my. I just use a Vector Zeus for its on-ride Vanguard skill, punishing my opponent for early game rushing. That's why he's in here. Plus, like, you know, if we're playing 7 Seas Grade 1 Rush, he has a land break ability, so, you know, we can fight it somehow, even though it's probably still widely in their favor, but, you know, when you're going to get that nerf, so you won't have to worry about that deck anymore. Anyway, let's get on to the Stride Zone. Now for the Stride Zone, we can go over... See, we're going to go over the obvious ones first. We play 4 Dark, Merciless Mutant Deity, Darkface. Now obviously you're going to play 4 of this guy. It's a Darkface deck. Why wouldn't you? His Act, Vanguard Stride skills, Dark Device. That means if there's anything standing in that thing, you can use it. Counterblast 1, flip anything up and choose the same number of your opponent's rear guards, the same number in face up, and they get continuous. It cannot be chosen, and it cannot unit set. And he gains plus 5k for each unit picked with this effect. So it's really good in the case where like you can catch your opponent off guard if they don't have a perfect guard, or like make them waste their perfect guard. So yeah, you could go into maybe a stun beetle next turn. So you know it's good in that sense, but I really kind of wish that we could spread the power. It just wouldn't automatically go to him. I wish it would have been an ability where like pick a unit and he gains plus 5k power for each unit chosen. I feel like that would have been really good instead of just actually giving the power to the Vanguard, which most of the time my Vanguard didn't need that extra power. But you know, it is what it is. It's still a very good card. It's still a very good card, yes. Anyway, let's go on to the next card. We run 3 Raging Spear Mutant Deity Stun Beetle. Now I talked about this a lot in my Mega Colony deck profile videos, is that you don't play less than 3 Stun Beetle. I know some people play 2. You don't play less than 3. That is my recommendation to all people who take Mega Colony seriously and competitively. Personally, I had to reconfigure this deck to fit in some other cards, and I had to take some stuff out. I wish I could fit in, but I can't. So that's why he's down to 3, because we had to fit in another card in the slot because it needed to be in here. So his ability is obviously Generation Break 2, Counterblast 2, flip a copy of him face up when he hits a Vanguard, stun your opponent's Vanguard, and they cannot ride in the next ride phase. So he's a really good card to just like heavily minus your opponent. He's really good for the simple fact of heavily minusing your opponent where they cannot ride normally and they cannot stand. That's why most of the time people do not let him hit. But you run 3 copies, so you have the chance of getting him off 2 times. You have the chance of trying him 2 times. Or like doing it 3 times like I do sometimes, like just force cards out of their hand because they don't know you're running 3 or 4. They're just scared because they really don't want to let this guy hit. Most people, you know, obviously not to let this guy hit, but like, you know, sometimes you can catch your opponent off guard if you, hey, it's okay, man. You part of the crime syndicate, you're not being, I mean, you are being kind of slimy, just be like, attack. And if they don't say anything, they just say, sure, you know, they don't ask any on hits. You don't have to, if they don't ask, don't tell them. Don't tell them, swing on hit. No, just say, sure. I've done it before, guys, you know, yeah, had to, you know. You can catch your opponent off guard and just like steal the win. I didn't steal the win though, but like, you know, caught him off guard. Anyway, the next 2 cards are obviously 2 Lawless Mutant Deity Opterandus. Now, this is a really good card. Helps against the Pale Moon matchup. Helps against the Grand Blue matchup. Helps against even the freaking. Helps against like when your opponent doesn't have a board and you just like minus them. It helps against those matchups where like a board can appear out of nowhere and you don't have units to stun. Go into Opterandus for 2 turns. I wish I could fit in a 3rd one, but sadly I can't. Plus, you really don't want to Opterandus 3 times in a row because it's a heavy minus. It is a very heavy minus. Like, even, I think it's a balanced card. It's Counterblast 2 and Ditch 1, but I really wish that instead Opterandus was like, you know, it was a Soul Blast instead of like a discard. Or like a Counter Blast 1, Ditch 1, Soul Blast 1. Maybe that would have been better, because this deck is Counter Blast heavy as hell. This deck is very freaking Counter Blast heavy. Like, just like have that Counter Blast 2 is like very detrimental to the deck. Anyway, but he's a really good card, obviously. You run him for the intensive purposes of when your opponent's playing Grand Blue or Pale Moon, so that necessarily you are not dead in the water, per se. Anyway, obviously, the last but main stride you will go into is Suppression Mutant Deity Tyrannus. Now, I run... Where's the second copy? There it is. I run 2 copies of Tyrannus. Now, at first, I thought you only need 1 GB8, and that's it. I'm wrong. I was wrong. Tyrannus is widely known to be one of the weaker GB8s, and people can survive a Tyrannus turn. It's very unlikely, but they can. It's not very unlikely, but if they prepare for it, they can survive a Tyrannus turn, but they'll be heavily crippled. So if you can survive next turn, you can just Tyrannus again and ensure your victory. That's basically what this guy is. Because of his continuous GB8 is, all your opponent's vanguards and rearguards lose their auto abilities and cannot intercept, and all your units gain plus 5k power for each of my opponent's vanguards and rearguards in the rest position. So he's a very good card. Like, you can get up to freaking plus, if they have a full board, you can get up to fucking plus, what's that? You have a full board, plus like 30, plus 30 to every unit, that's crazy. Especially if it's late game and they have few perfect guards to spare. Yeah, he wins games. You always, this is your win condition of the deck. This is the goal of the deck now, guys. You want to just get to him as quickly as possible, and then just spring him out and kill your opponent. That's what this deck has come to. But you know, you still draw and you still do all your other control stuff. But you know, this is the win condition of the deck. We finally have one. I'm so glad we do. And that's it. Okay, obviously the last stride card is a Sabreeze. Now, I was first against running a Sabreeze in the deck because this deck is so counterblast heavy, but it loses to early game. If your opponent is stalling against you, you can't stall with them. You have to run the Sabreeze basically, because you have to gain some sort of advantage off of them just like staying at 2. And it's not really that detrimental as I thought it was, but like, you know, it's there. You guys hear that in the background, my dog is drinking water. I was trying to talk over it, but you know, the other guy, this late at night, you drinking some water? Anyway, you can run 1 Sabreeze. I feel like it's a necessity in any G-Break deck. I'm like, very handy. Waking up, apparently. It's necessary in any G-Break reliant deck. That, in my opinion, that can't do anything. It's basically dead in the water until you reach grade 3 in stride. Okay, now we're gonna go on to yeah, let's go into this first. We're gonna go into our G Guardians. Now we run 1 Screw, because Screw is really good. Discard 1, get plus 10k shield. Really good card. Run 1 Screw, and we run 1 Scarab Gas. We run 1 Scarab Gas because like it's a free plus 5k shield, and if their opponent's Vanguard, there's my other dog drinking water now. My opponent's Vanguard like is just attacking for a base of 26. I can throw this down and like a 10k for 3 pass. So it's really good for that purpose. And then we run 1 Mutant Deity Fortress Bracefort. Now this is a really good card. I was running it at 2 when I was running 5 G Guardians, but I had to cut a G Guardian for the second Tyrannus because I needed it in the deck. It's Counterblast 1. When it seems placed on G Guardian during a battle, your Vanguard attack, my opponent's Vanguard attack my Vanguard. It really sucks, but you know, it is what it is. Rest all my opponent's units in the background. It gains plus 5k shield for every 2 of my opponent's units at the rest position until the end of the battle. Now, I'm just thinking to myself, just for every 2, that's crazy, man. It should be +5 for every rested unit, because you know why? Because Kagero just got a rare G-Guardian that is Counterblast 1 plus 10k for every open rearguard circle. Now that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I'm so jealous right now. I wish we had a G-Guardian like that. Like, Bushy, you need to get on that. You need to revamp Mega Colony. I don't care if we get a new deck, but this deck needs to be revamped. Like, pronto, guys. Come on. Sorry for the little rant, guys. You know, I'm just real passionate about this game, and I'm very passionate about my bugs. So you run one of him, obviously, because he's really good in those situations where your opponent has a full board, and you just cripple them. Then you run one of the new hotness 7-star Mutant D to Relish Lady. Now, its skill is auto, Generation Break 1, so you can't first G-Guard with this. I've made the mistake a couple times myself, guys, you know, you gotta watch yourself. Flip a G-Guardian, and was placed on G-Guard during the battle your opponent's Vanguard attacked you, you may pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses 2 of his rear guards and rests them. If 2 units were not rested, you draw a card, countercharge, and soul charge. So what I like to do is because one of my plans is to, you know, G-Guard so you can get to Tyrannus early enough is G-Guard of Relish Lady. If the Vanguard attack's really big, G-Guard first agrees for it to make it limit their option completely of resting 2. Then I'll G-Guard of Relish Lady so I can get the free draw, countercharge, and soul charge, which really helps feed Darkface's ability. I just wish it was a little bit better. Like, this is a solid G-Guardian, but I just really wish it was a little bit better. I wish the card was force them to rest 2. They force rest 2 units. I don't care if it's like another force rest a unit in the front row and force rest a unit in the back row. That would have been awesome. That would have been kind of broken. Not really, because Narukami's got that one broken G-Guardian, and that's really good because all Narukami decks are running that too. And then maybe take out the draw and countercharge and soul charge. It would have been good, man, but Bushy giving us the shaft once again because we're bugs. They're afraid to give us too much power, but you know how it is. Anyway, guys, that is my Mega Colony deck profile with the new Tyrannus GB8 stuff that I know a lot of you have been asking for, and I've finally given it to y'all. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me in the comments down below what you guys think. Do you want more area deck profiles? Do you not like area deck profiles? And I'll be doing more turn reports, more area battles in the future, I promise, because my friend, he's off vacation right now because it's his summer. When he gets back, we're going to do some match videos on area, OBS. It's going to be awesome, guys. So, Massive Beatles out. See you later.